Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to another two-player co-op Friday show. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How we doing?
I'm doing great. You want to know why, Sean?
Why, Kevin?
Because we're finally talking Horizon Zero Dawn spoilers. Because this guy beat it. If you didn't watch the podcast this week, you should have. Sean beat Horizon. We're going to spoil the hell out of it. If that wasn't enough of a warning for you, this is a Spoilercast because you clicked on the video that says Horizon Zero Dawn Spoilercast. Spoilercast. This will be full of spoilers. If you have not beaten the game yet,
Chock full, even.
Chock full of nuts. Why was that ever a coffee? Makes no sense because coffee's not nuts. It's beans. That pisses... Never mind. We're going to spoil the hell out of Horizon. Turn the video off if you don't want to get spoiled. We're starting spoilers right now. Did you think... I went through a phase during this game where I thought Aloy was actually going to be Elizabeth. Like that she had just... Because I was like, it doesn't make sense because she was a little kid, but...
Right.
And then it turns out she is Elizabeth. I mean, she's cloned from her.
I mean, basically. Props to me. I kind of sort of got that right. It was more... I didn't really get the whole Zero Dawn thing right. I mean,
you were close.
I sort of
basically
did.
said they're gonna. something's gonna
but
happen.
I thought
we're
it
gonna
was
start
just.
from
I thought it was
scratch.
gonna just be we're screwed. Let's go ahead and like plant the seeds of like human life. Which I guess if I say it generically enough, they did. But yeah, I was pretty proud of myself.
I thought before it became clear that Hades was just an AI.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be Ted Farrell was Hades.
I mean, he turned out to
kind of
basically be a bad guy.
But I didn't know. I was like, did he go into a cryogenic chamber or something, and then he woke up after all life was restored or something? I didn't know what it was going to be, and that was wrong.
Right.
What did you think? Well, let's just... so Aloy's origin. I think it was pretty obvious. It was one of those things where if I go back and play this game again, it's going to be like, well, obviously she's left outside of the big door by All Mother Earth or whatever. Like, obviously she's a clone, and it was just, okay, here you go. She's going to save the world, you know?
But I don't think it was...
It's not obvious when you're playing.
No. But once you already know, it's obvious.
But it is funny. One of the things I thought of throughout this is whether you're Christian or not, whatever, the whole...
Christian, he's probably watching.
Yeah, Christian, you've been wanting us to do this. Christian Campbell, you better be watching. But if you are a Christian, like, obviously there's a lot of... Like Superman, a lot of times there's a lot of Jesus imagery and everything. They went overboard with it in Man of Steel when he floats out of the spaceship like he's on the cross.
Right.
Do you remember?
Yes.
But it's like she was conceived not of natural birth, all that other stuff. So it's just cool. Like, obviously, I started to get that vibe like she's the savior and all this stuff, and it's awesome. Where do you want to start? You're the one that just beat it. I refreshed my memory.
Right,
I read through Wikipedia just to refresh my memory on some things, but
I should have done that just to see if I missed anything. But overall thoughts, absolutely loved it. It took a while, as I've said, it took a while to really get going for me. But once it did, and it wasn't even really necessarily a story. Like, the way you made it sound is because once you found out about Elizabeth and Ted Farrell and that whole what Zero Dawn is.
Yeah, that mission.
You couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
And that's around when it happened for me, but it was more just, I mean, I was very invested and I wanted to know what happened. But it was almost more of a coincidence where it was right around there where I don't know if it was I had started leveling up more or I had just gotten a better feel for the combat or what it was, but it was where the game just started flowing better for me. I didn't feel like I was about to get into like a confrontation with a long legs, any kind of animal, beast thing. And then I had to like stop and think, oh God, what do I do? Like, okay, I can do this. Okay. What weapons do I have? Okay.
Yep.
Should I do that? And it just became much more natural and whatever. The game is fantastic. It's a loaded year, and it wouldn't take much. I mean, it's not a perfect game, Breath of the Wild is not a perfect game.
Metal Gear Solid
It's a 10 out of
3
10, but it's not a perfect game. It would not take much for this game to be as good, if not better, than Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's almost there. And almost any other year,
I'd be
this
like,
could be Game of the Year.
I'd be like, good luck, everybody else. Yeah.
One thing that it's got over Breath of the Wild, I will say, I mean, everything is much more... Before I get into that, this game is about... It's more or less what I expected it to be. And there's a lot of differences, but it does... There's a lot of comparisons to be drawn to Breath of the Wild. That being said, I like the whole thing. I mean, even though it's not a huge detriment to Zelda, I like that your crap doesn't break.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
But
there would be times where I'd be going up into like the snowy mountains and be like, oh, I better put on my winter gear. I'm like, nope, that doesn't affect me in this game.
They had
like,
all this stuff, and I like that. You had the different gear that you could put on that went with those different areas and different tribes and stuff. But like she would say it's cold out or something, but she would never lose health or anything.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I the more I think about it with Zelda, I hate that your weapons break. I hate that.
Yeah.
It doesn't... but I do... But then one detriment that I think this had... There's no variety in your melee weapons. You have your spear, you end up getting Silent Spear,
right,
and that's all you get. Lance, sorry. It would have been cool if she had, and maybe, I wonder what the sequel, like obviously the way it ended, and we'll get there, there's going to be a sequel. Give this girl a sword or something. Give her some cool freaking technological sword or something. Like in Zelda, the Guardian swords. I could see that existing in the Horizon world, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Continue.
If this game... So fast travel is huge.
Yes.
Once you get to Meridian and you get that, like that changed the game for me. But when you're just trying to get around without the go anywhere aspect that Zelda has, getting around is kind of difficult.
Yeah.
If you could do that, that alone, and I know that I'm spoiled and that's never been in any game before, so I can't expect it to be in this. I bet it's in Horizon 2.
Yeah.
That alone would have made the game so much better. But once I got to fast travel, I fast traveled a lot.
I did too. Especially towards the end, I'm like, okay, there's a cauldron over here, fast travel. Okay, there's a long neck here, fast travel there. Like,
now, so somewhat recently I was talking about The Witcher. Oh, it was when I was trying to draw a comparison between The Witcher and Life is Strange. And how when a game just has so much to do,
yeah,
and I can't bring myself to do it all, I almost just feel like I don't want to play this game anymore, because why would I play it if I can't really experience it? There's a lot. So I basically I never used any other bow besides the Shadow Karja Sharp Shot. I never even got the regular, like the non-sniper one, which... What does that even mean? I mean, is it a faster... Because I know if I shoot and I don't kill somebody or I miss, it takes a little bit longer to pull back on the sniper bow.
Yeah, but there's a skill you can get that makes it
I got
faster.
that.
Okay.
But why would I ever use not a sniper bow?
They shoot faster. They do more damage, I think, than the sharp shot one.
Oh,
the sharp
really?
shot has the tear blast, which is just freaking awesome. But the other one, it depends how you use your modifications and stuff. But the regular Shadow Karja War Bow or whatever it's called, I forget. It does
that's one that
more
lets you
damage.
do like flame and ice and shock and all that.
And I use the hell out. I use the hell out of it because those flaming ones, especially because I don't know if you ever did somebody ever tell you that the corrupted machines are vulnerable to fire? Somebody told me that. So whenever I went up and corrupted, I was like, boom, boom. I would just pepper it with fire arrows until that meter filled all the way up, and then it just started losing life, and it was kind of stunned. I'd go up and I'd hit it with the lance a bunch of times.
Yeah. That being said, I missed out. I mean, I don't know if I really missed out, but I didn't do a lot. That's the only bow I pretty much used as soon as I got it. I rarely used the Tripcaster. I a handful of times used the rope caster or whatever.
Where you tie
I used
him
it when I
down.
was fighting, when I had to fight all the Glinthawks or whatever. When you're fighting the dude.
Yeah, Helis.
No,
that was a tough fight.
not that guy.
That was tough.
The other
we'll
guy.
talk about
that fight was tough.
Put a pin in that. We need to talk about that.
God, Verdal.
Okay.
When you're fighting him, I think
When
that's
they're
the
all
guy.
flying around and stuff. Yeah.
Right. I used him there, and it kind of helped, but I don't know. I never used a sling. There was some kind of like close range gun or something you could use that like shot. Like I never bought that. I almost never. What do you call it? Like did the override on the enemies.
Really?
Once I learned how to do it.
Did you ever use it to ride any of them?
No.
I did
one time, like
before-
when you first learned that you
Yes.
could do that. I don't think
Before
I
I got-
I
before I
literally
got
don't think I
my-
ever did it again.
Before I got my infinite fast travel, I used it to override the bulls or whatever. They're peaceful.
Broadhead
things,
or
walking-
whatever?
The broadhead. And I just
longhorns?
grab on them and go. But that was really it. I used it on the Watchers, like I was telling you offline. I used it on the Watchers a lot at the beginning. There were times where there was one long neck that I had to get to where there was like 2 sawtooths walking around. And there was a bunch of those annoying, those long legs. I hate long legs. I hate those things.
Yeah.
I hate those almost
They
worse
like
than
scream.
sawtooth. Yeah.
They do like that
When they
sonic
stun you and
blast
stuff.
thing. Yeah.
And so I overrode 2 sawtooths and had them go to town on them down there while I went up the mountain. Still had to fight some of the long legs up there while I made my way up to jump on the long neck. Are they tall necks or long necks? I can't even remember. Because their long legs are those
Long neck, tall
ostrich
neck.
kind of things.
Well, what's a beer?
A tall boy. A tall neck. Long neck. I don't know.
I think they're tall necks.
Okay, I think they're tall necks.
I think it's a tall neck because a beer is a long neck.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
These are cans.
What else? One thing I noticed. So, well, we'll get to that later. Somehow I ended up with a question mark in my beast journal. There's like one enemy that I somehow, a brobot. A brobot.
Robot.
I combined beast and robot. A brobot.
Wait.
There's one
Okay.
that I never scanned.
There's one that I
apparently.
didn't get until the end. Oh God, what were they called? The Stalkers, the ones that go
The
invisible.
invisible ones. Maybe that was it.
Maybe
I
you never
maybe
just
I
hit
never
the focus on them because that was the
No,
last one.
No,
I got
definitely
the trophy.
did.
I got
it was
the
weird
trophy
because
when
it was
that
like
popped.
around the middle and the bottom row. Like it wasn't even like way at the end of the.
Did you scan the thing, the big like rhinoceros thing that you fight in the sun dome thing? Did you scan that? The bellowback or whatever they
Yeah.
are. Okay.
So I don't know how I
The
missed
charger.
one,
I don't know.
but, what else before we move on? Speaking of not doing stuff, I'm still missing one. I mean, I know right where it is, but I have one more tall neck. The one in the very south, kind of like southwest, like south,
Yeah.
southeast of Meridian, and that's where the last cauldron is. Mm-hmm. And so first, when I asked, "Do you ever get to upgrade your spear?" and you're like,
I just didn't want to tell you this.
No, I know, but-
give you one. Yeah.
then I started thinking, oh, maybe once you do all, since every time you finish a cauldron, you get to override
Right.
more things. Maybe once you do all the cauldrons, that's when you get some kind of spear upgrade.
Right.
So that's why I was like, I'm going to start doing these cauldrons. And then I just didn't finish them. And then now I finally see what you're talking about getting the spear upgrades. And I'm like, why do I'm not tempted to get a platinum per se, but I already feel more. Now the clock is ticking because I got Final Fantasy coming, but
You got about another 20
compared to when I
hours.
beat Zelda, once I beat Zelda, I was like, all right, I need a break. This
Yeah.
game, I'm kind of ready to just get back into it and keep
Yeah.
playing. Like,
This game is phenomenal.
I do kind of want to do the cauldron. Sidebar, I don't like the cauldrons. I don't like a lot of the inside stuff in this game. I feel like I'm always everything looks the same. I'm always getting turned around. The cauldrons, I don't enjoy the
that were
cauldrons
more-
at all.
The cauldrons that were more puzzle focused, where you had to like ride on the
Yeah.
the things on the conveyor on
Yeah.
the conveyor belt. So you know what I mean. Those I didn't like those at all. I think this was a level. This was a main mission in the game. Did you the part where there's a Deathbringer, where you walk into the room? Yeah, it was a mission. You walk in the room. There's a Deathbringer down there, and once it sees you, it shoots the walkway, and you fall down.
I think that's the first Deathbringer you fight. Yeah. I
No.
think
The
that's
first one is where you just walk
the
up
Grave
to
Horde
it.
or whatever.
The first one's where you walk up to it and it's in like a stadium or something, and it's just in the ground. It can't move or anything.
Oh, right.
The first time I saw that, I was scared to death, but I was like, this thing isn't moving. And I hit it with a bunch of fire arrows. And
I just stood behind a wall and pulled my arrow, stepped out, shot it.
Went back. Yeah.
Got
and then when the guys
stepped out, shot it.
When the guys would run over to me, I'd just lance them and be done with it.
Yeah.
The first time I saw the Deathbringer, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, well, this is easy. And then the next time I saw one, it was mobile, and I was like, oh, this is completely different.
But yeah, so I still have one more tall neck. I have one more cauldron. I had never even touched. I know nothing about them, but I know from you they're a pain. Never even touched a single hunting grounds.
There's no, unless I
want the platinum.
Remind me to also, last boss fight, I want to ask you something about that.
Yep.
Unless you want the platinum, there's no point in doing the hunting grounds.
Yeah. So I'm torn between wanting to enjoy the game more, but like, where do I draw the line? I don't care about the platinum. I don't. I'm tempted to see what the hunting grounds are because I literally have no idea. So I kind of want to just try one and just see.
They're difficult.
I don't even care about the cauldrons because I never override things anyway. What's the last tall? I mean, I kind of want to get the last tall neck just so I can say I've uncovered the whole map. Yeah. I got maybe a third of like the metal flowers. I don't know what those do.
They're just collectibles. Well, you can
trade them for something, right?
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't know that I ever traded them. It was more just I got to tick these off
so
to get the platinum.
One thing I haven't done, I never did any of the Vantage things.
Oh, those you should do because you still don't even really know where this takes place.
No. I assume it's like Utah or something, right? Then they wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Air Force. It's those Vantages.
Is it kind of
cool.
like the Zelda memories or something? Is it that kind of thing?
Kinda. It's not really a spoiler, but basically when you get up there, there's a little piece of technology.
Well, so let me finish my story. Okay. So it was the mountain that falls, the penultimate mission. And so I get up there, and where I'm going pretty much takes me right past one of the Vantages. I'm like, I'm finally next to a Vantage. Let's do this. And then right around that time, I started getting attacked by a Stormbird. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I can't do this right now. So I'm like, I don't even want to fight this thing. Like, I just start running because I'm only like 150 steps or feet or whatever from wherever I'm trying to get. And then once I get close, the thing lays off. I'm like, okay, let me go back and get that Vantage now. So the Vantage, literally like where it was dead center on the map, that's where the Stormbird was like perched. I'm like,
Did you ever kill one of them?
I never before like the last fight when you have like the gun.
Yeah.
I never killed one. I thought about it, so I pulled out my tear thing. And I'm like, okay, he's got really 2 like lightning guns, and then he's got like 6 engines. And I'm like, what do I take out first? So I think I shot it at an engine. Or no, I shot it at a lightning gun. And it said component removed, and then he was still shooting me because apparently he has 2 of them. And then even when I would go into like Matrix, like slow motion mode, he's always like, whew, whew.
Yeah.
He's still moving, so I'm like, I can't like,
yes.
I could. And then I started getting messed up, and then I'm like, nope. And I just ran back to the thing. So I never got any
those
of the
things are way
advantages,
worse than the Thunderjaws.
Oh, they're
even the corrupted
way
Thunderjaws.
worse. But yeah, so I never did any of the advantages. I am kind of curious about those. So it just kind of gives you more story.
It gives you perspective of like one guy who's part of when everything was going bad, when the humans were still around. It's his it's like day 19, day 372.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. You see things that you can kind of recognize and stuff, and I mean you figured out where it was, but
right.
If you don't care about the platinum, I would still say do the Vantages. They can be a cane in the butt. They can be a pain in the butt sometimes because like that's a vantage point. Like you have to get up high, and it'll show you on the map kind of where it is.
It's like a point with like a circle.
It's pretty close to the middle.
Yeah.
Find a high point in there, and
well, that's why where this thing is right where the Stormbird was perched.
And you can hit your focus, and you can kind of see a little like purple flame up there or whatever.
What I was going to try to do is get on top of that because I was able to, in theory, override the Stormbird, but it was up on this thing, and I couldn't get it from the ground, and I couldn't figure out how to get on top of it. And that's when I was like, well, maybe I can't get up there. So I never shot him instead, and then he tried to kill me.
I never overrode a Stormbird or a Thunderjaw. I want to override a Thunderjaw just because.
Yeah.
Just because. The Vantages are really cool. I would definitely say to do them whether you want to do the platinum or not. What I was going to ask before you finish your thoughts, so I don't forget, the final fight, well, not the final, it was the penultimate episode mission where you got the big gun, like you said, and there's 4 different waves of robot dinosaurs coming at you. Did you have people helping you out, or were you all alone?
There were people at some of the other stations, but then I feel like I couldn't keep the robots away, and then they started getting attacked by them. So if there were other people around, but they didn't seem like they were doing a whole lot.
If you do the side, there's a certain set of side missions to where everybody joins up with Aloy for that fight. Mm-hmm. And they're the characters that are there manning the guns and stuff. And you talk
Aaron
to them. Vash, Val. I can't remember.
It's like a name. It's like a normal name with the
and then the war
first
chief. That's his mom, the war chief.
Supinella.
Starts with a V. It's not Supinella. It's Varl.
Who's War Chief Supinella?
There's no war chief.
That might be from Final Fantasy.
War Chief Supinella?
Yeah.
Super Bossa Nova.
But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Varl.
It's
Varl,
Carl,
right?
but it's Varl. Yeah. Varl, and then War Chief.
Elizabeth. What kind of name is that? What kind of name is Varl is what she's saying. So, any other thoughts you got? And then I want to get in the story.
I was ever so slightly disappointed by the end boss. Again, similar to Zelda, when you fight Calamity Ganon outside, and then it's like, okay, let's go do this actual final fight. And it's like, nope, game over. I was like, oh. So once I beat the Deathbringer, I thought, then I'm going to go fight Hades. And then it's like,
no,
stab
him, and he's
game
dead.
Over. I'm like, well, so I thought I had like one more, but like I was ready
that's
to like.
True. The siege
it was
of all
kind of
the
a
enemies.
letdown. I like the end. It like
It's
I
kind of
like
like
how
Calamity
everything played
Ganon,
out.
And then Hades is like Dark Beast Ganon.
Right. Yeah. I like how everything played out, but I thought I had one more battle, and then I was like, oh nope, I guess I beat it.
That is one thing that I'll be interested to see if they do in Horizon 2. I'm interested to see what the DLC is also. But because you had so many like
way more interested when I first heard about the DLC. I'm like, meh. But now I'm like, okay, no, I'm in.
Give it to me.
Now is that free?
No, $15 on sale right now. Normally it's 20. It's on sale for 15 for PS Plus.
And when does it come out?
They haven't said yet.
Oh, okay.
Sometime this year. I would think it would be like September, October. It'll be. I
Part of me wants to go back and watch that announcement again.
Yeah.
Now that I've beaten it and see if I can kind of figure out what's going on. But
I think they want to give Uncharted time to breathe. So that's why I think it'll be like mid-September or later. Is what I think. Because they don't have any fall games, so that can be their fall game. Is just more Horizon, which I'm all about. What did you think about the ending? I got a little misty-eyed. Like, I didn't cry, but when she went and she finds Elizabeth's body, like she sacrificed herself. She shut the thing to save everybody. She stayed out there with all the mean robot dinosaurs.
And she saw about if she had a kid. What would she? Yeah. No.
I was like, okay, she never knew her mother. This is kind of like how it's making peace with her mother, who is like Big Boss's Solid Snake's dad. I mean, it's actually everything goes back to Metal Gear. I really like the way they did that. Did you see the silence thing coming? Because at this point, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know.
No,
if he
I
just
didn't see it
wants
coming. I think he's a bad guy.
Obviously, he's going to be the bad guy in 2.
He's going to play a very important part.
He's going to take back over the Eclipse or whatever. He's going to resurrect Hades or something worse. That's the one thing. You know, when you go up in these mountains and you see these freaking huge robots.
The big, like guardian-looking things?
Yeah, well,
that's going to be Horizon 2.
Yes.
Horizon 2, you're going to have crazy super giant robots. Silence, I look at Silence as like kind of a...
He's like a Lex Luthor.
He's like a tragic... He's a flawed person. Like, I don't think he's... At his core, I don't think he's bad.
I think he just wants to
that
understand
knowledge.
everything.
And he doesn't understand that he's being played by Hades. Like, I think he's going to be the bad guy. And then
but
by
he's
the
got
end
Hades
of 2,
in the lantern, I think, at the end, right?
Yeah. I think by the end of 2, he'll probably be dead, but he'll kind of redeem himself, and it'll be one of those things. So what I think... 2 is going to be, I mean, we kind of just touched on it. I think one of the big things that comes out of it, which I think is going to form the kind of the backdrop of 2, because as I'm playing this, even before I figured out what was going on, even before I began to figure out what was going on, and well before I figured out what actually happened, the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what is Horizon 2? How does this continue? And the only thing I can think of, I think the big backdrop to 2 is going to be somehow, some way, Silence probably is able to recover the, who is it? Apollo. The knowledge of the Ancient Ones, whatever, that Ted purged and deleted and whatever.
Oh, that was
somehow he's going to be able to repair that. He's going to find that data, and he's going to have all this technological information and stuff that nobody else has, and that's why you're going to end up with these bigger, badder robots and all these crazy new technologies, and not just guns that shoot like fireworks, basically, like crazy weapons. Like, I think that's what 2 is going to be. That's where I think it goes. But,
and you fight those big giant
and
guardians.
those giant, it's going to be like God of War, like set piece kind of boss fights. And God, I already can't wait.
I like, and the other thing I forgot to go back and touch on, not related to the story much, but that fight, the boss fight against Helis or Helis, however, whatever you say his name, the guy with that was the guy's name I couldn't think of, with the big feathered hairdress and stuff. The guy who killed
Rost.
I died like that the first time I did that fight, because that guy
Did
got
you
on
have
top
your
of me.
shield armor thing?
Not yet. No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, once I got that, it was almost like I might be a little too powerful now. Yeah, almost.
You are over. Once you get that and the new spear, it's like, I don't think you can touch me.
Right.
Like, oh, Thunderjaw, I'm not even going to hide. Come at me, bro.
Right.
Let's go. But no, I didn't have it for that fight, and I like, maybe I did. I don't know what. Maybe I did, but still, I mean, it wears out quickly. I can't remember. Is that, when did you fight him? Not in the last mission.
last mission.
Oh.
That's like
then
the beginning of the last
Then
mission.
I did have it.
You fight him, and then you do the gun battle with all the dinosaurs, and then you do dinosaurs.
And then you go up the mountain to the final fight. To fight Hades.
Yeah.
That fight, once he gets on top of you, you're done. But I kept distance, because he just kind of walks at you like he's Freddy or something, and I just kept... And then I would run away.
See, I kept doing that, and then I'm like, this isn't doing a whole lot. And then I eventually killed a guy who had a gun.
Yes.
The Deathbringer gun, and I just... And that got him down. It took away maybe half his health. I'm like, okay.
It felt
I'm
good
like,
to
let me
kill
find another guy who's got a gun, and nobody else had one. I'm like... And then I eventually saw all the canisters of Blaze or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I have to use these.
That's what it was. I felt too overpowered. I was like, okay.
Well, that's what I did at first. I
was
was just ran out.
Come on, bro. You think you're tough?
Him.
And because I think they say in the story, they're like, or Aloy says, I can't let him get close to me. I'm like, yeah, I can. Come on, dude.
Yeah. No, I did the same thing. And then I'm like, okay, I need to keep my distance. Yeah.
See, I didn't figure out before it was too late.
But
I only
what
died
did,
the one time.
I eventually got it to where he was almost dead. And I'm like, I have like full health and full shield. Like, I got nothing to worry about. I basically stood on top of a canister and just...
That's all.
I just waited for him to get near me, and then boom, and that just blew us both up, and then he died and whatever.
That's awesome. How cool was it once you got... So, yes, once you figure out what's going on, first off, how crazy that this... And this is what, for everybody that worries about robots taking over and stuff, play this game. Because the fact that these freaking robots decided, oh, we're going to fuel ourselves with biofuel. We're going to fuel ourselves on this planet's life. People, plants, animals, everything.
Yeah.
Once you realize that was going on, I was like, holy crap, now I see what happened. They went crazy, and they're just, I'm going to keep going until we wipe out all life on this planet.
Yeah.
I felt bad for killing the robot, the Brobot dinosaurs when it got to the point where, I don't know if it was Gaia that was, maybe it was Gaia was telling you how, when she was going over the plan to what Zero Dawn was.
Hephaestus is just gonna, he's like the forge or whatever, and it's basically like,
he's gonna
we're just gonna make things that are gonna just care. They're just out there doing.
They're just
what
animals.
They feel is,
they're going to be there to
they're robotic
pollinate
animals.
and to make everything come back to life. And I'm like, oh god. But I mean, I know there was the whole what was the word they said? Not the resistance, whatever it was, where they all went bad. And then snap maws were no longer just crocodiles swimming around. They were wanting to kill you and stuff. The reckoning or something.
Yeah.
I felt
so. So I'm trying to think. How does? I mean, did one of them was it Efflugia or whatever that one? The one that's in I Mother Earth, whatever the All Mother. Where did biological
It's late.
life come back from? Obviously, all people are dead, but what?
They had
is everybody like an
spores.
Aloy?
The original group of people was, yes, and then they were able to procreate from there. But yes, they were all. That's why that's when you see after it's all done, and then AIs are teaching the people. Did you see all those projector things where it's like, we want to get out of here, we want to know what's outside,
no, see,
blah
I think
blah
I missed
blah.
that.
Oh, that was the best part. That was one of the best parts of one of the final missions. I can't remember what it was, but did you see the thing where you walk into the boardroom and you see how everybody gets
When
poisoned
Ted
and dies?
killed him,
Yeah, that was
and they all
heartbreaking,
you see
too.
all the
and they end
up falling
end up where the body is.
corpses
yeah. Oh.
are. Yeah,
No, there's a part where you go through and there's all these holograms where it's like Apollo. I think it was Apollo. I can't remember. It's been so long now. But Apollo talking to these people and like trying to teach them stuff. They're like, we don't care. You're not our dad. And there was like cyborg people walking around like, no, you will lay down and you will be good. Like, and they're like, we don't want this. We want to go outside. And so yeah, everybody started. The human race restarted from clones. So technically, they're probably not even humans anymore.
yeah.
Because is Solid Snake a human? He's a clone.
Well, so what I guess what I first thought of, and then that snowballed into that, but inconsequential. But we have all these robot dinosaurs and stuff. Why do we still have like boars and raccoons and turkeys? And did somebody say we'll probably want boars and raccoons and turkeys? Let's make some clones of, and then just let them go. And
They did. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's not like they had the Jurassic Park where they had the vials and everything.
Right,
But
yeah.
somehow, I think they kind of glossed over it, how they got DNA for all the different animals and species. But that also explains why you only see like turkeys, raccoons, and boars is like all
And
you
foxes.
see. And fox. That's all you see. That's probably because they don't need deer because they got the robot deer, the grazers and stuff like that. They're going to
Right.
churn up the earth and do all this other stuff. And
yeah. One of the most frustrating parts, and I still don't remember how I got past it. It was on the penultimate one, the mountain that fell or whatever.
yeah.
Just trying to get out of there. I got all the way up there. I saw the Ted Farrow scene where he like kills everybody. And then it's like, okay, go back to Silen's lab. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, where do I go?
I slide down the little rope thing, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, and it's like the next marker's like up on top of this
I
thing. I'm
remember
like,
that, yep.
Okay. I'm like, how do I? And
This isn't Zelda.
I eventually
I
just
can't just
pulled
climb.
the thing where I was literally like,
Boing,
jump,
boing, boing.
jump, like not climbing. Like I was literally just like found these little ledge, and I was able to just jump, and somehow I got to the top of it. I'm like, and that was like 20 minutes later. Like I just couldn't figure out how. I couldn't figure out where to go and how to get up there. And then I just jumped up a mountain, and then somehow I got to where I needed to be. But God, that was frustrating. But
I can't remember. I feel like I found a place to climb, but it
That
wasn't
was
one
where
of those
I
that were
found-
marked with yellow. It wasn't one of those.
that was where I found my third power cell. When I was trying to get out of there, I'm like, oh, I can climb up here. Maybe it'll lead over there eventually. And I just went in this room and I found a power cell. I was like, well, that's cool, but I really just want to get out of here now. But
Yeah.
that being said, I'm glad I found that so I didn't have to come back and
would've
try to
sucked.
get that
Yeah.
later. So
Well, that's why I told you. I said there's no shame in looking at a guide because I didn't want to tell you that you get this awesome armor, but I wanted you to get all the power cells.
right.
Because that one, I knew where that one was because of a guide.
The armor is very helpful, but when I first saw it, so I never even went to those ruins. That's why I had no idea. I didn't realize that once you got that mission, it was pointing you to these ruins.
Yeah.
And if I went there, then I would have just seen, oh, I need these power cells.
I didn't
never
go
even
there
did
either
that.
until after,
Okay.
right.
But once I got in there and I saw it, I'm like, oh, I thought it was like a, what do you call it? Like, what's the game? Like Titanfall, like some kind of like
a mech or something,
right?
Like,
but it just ended up being like a.
DD
I mean, it's still
or
very
whatever.
helpful. But,
DD and Metal Gear Solid 5.
right? But
I never used that thing in that.
yeah, but yeah, no, that was very helpful.
What haven't we touched on? I think this game was just pure fun. And even what I will say is I don't think you want to put another 20 hours into it to get the platinum because you got Final Fantasy coming and everything. I never felt like it was annoying because collectibles are annoying, but it's not like the metal flowers and the Vantages and stuff and the Banuk or Bannock
The Bannock
figures.
action figures, yeah.
And then there's the Grazer dummies, which is a whole other thing that's really that part.
I feel like I want to get the last tall neck just to say I've done it. I kind of want to do the last cauldron, and then I want to do the Vantages, and that's probably where I'll.
Yeah. What I will say is,
it.
other than the hunting grounds where I got so frustrated that it was almost like the first time I've wanted to throw a controller in like 20 years. With that one hunting ground, and if you're watching and you know what I'm talking about, it was the one where the Glint Hawk tie down, where you,
that just sounds terrible.
You have to tie down Glint Hawks and get a critical strike, but now you have to do 3. But you're also getting attacked by the I don't know if it's the Bellowbacks or I think it was Chargers. They're attacking you. Other Glint Hawks are shooting at you. Oh my! It was just so. And one time I did it. I think I told you I did it in 2 minutes, and that was the cutoff for the best medal. It's like, nope, you get the second best.
That's how I think. I feel like we had this conversation, but in Final Fantasy X, to get either Titus's super weapon or one of the things to power up his super weapon, you need to do this chocobo race, and you're timed. But for every like balloon or something you hit, it takes like 3 seconds off your time or something like that. So in order to beat it, you need to end up with like negative time. You need to beat it so quick and get enough balloons that your time is negative. And I've beaten it at 0.00 before, and you
fail?
don't.
Oh my God.
That so I know the feeling, but okay, that sounds terrible. I want nothing to do with those hunting grounds.
No, it's all those are
purely just for the platinum.
There is one that's really fun. If I'll look up what the area is and have you try it, because it all involves Ravagers and Thunderjaws, and it is fun. And I did it my first try. I was shocked. There's another one that's all stealth where you got to go. There's Stalkers in trees, and then there's also the I don't remember what they're called. The things that always walk around and they've got like the claw things, and then they've got a big like crate on their backs.
Oh, the
Shell
Walker. Yeah.
You have to get like 6 of their crates inside a minute and 30 seconds or something. And there's 2 laying around. When the game first came out, before either of us played it, there was 2 areas where there was 3 and 3. And you just had to stealth over there, loot them, go stealth over there, loot them. You do it. But now there's only 2 laying around, and you have to kill the other 4 shell walkers. But not kill them. You have to get the things to drop before they pick them back up. And they got to. You can't loot them if you kill them while they're on their backs. You have to get them off. You know what I mean? It was a pain in the butt.
Would you say this is your most pleasing, I guess, platinum? The one that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I think so. More than Watch Dogs, because Watch Dogs wasn't that difficult because
You just had to find somebody puking.
I had to find somebody puking, which is really annoying. The online stuff wasn't that bad. It was like 5 things online. It wasn't that bad. Whereas Watch Dogs 1, it was like, win 40 online races and do 20 infiltration. I'm like, no,
Right.
Screw you. God of War 2 and 3, I felt good about those because of the challenge of the Olympians or the challenge of the gods, whatever they were.
Yeah. Ugh.
This was the most involved. The only one I might get that would feel more, what's the word? Joy. Not joy. What am I trying to say? Feel like I earned it more would be Metal Gear Solid 5, and there's no way in hell
No,
I'll ever.
yeah,
I've given up on that because it's not possible. But no, I feel good having this platinum because this is game, and I still haven't 100% of the game. There's still side quests and stuff that I haven't done. But I did the side quests I wanted to, like Olin and his family. Did you get to that part of the story?
I did those, yeah.
Okay. I was like, I feel like I need to help this guy. He's just looking out for his family, whatever.
Right.
I'm going to help this guy.
Well, I guess I haven't seen that whole arc through to completion, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay. But no, I feel good about this platinum. This was one you had to work. And again, it took me 46, 47 hours, something like, or no, I think it was 49 maybe for me.
But see, that's another thing. When you start that whole Olin thing, the game would certainly make it seem as though I spared his life because of my choice. But I feel like one of the options is basically like, nope, you're dead.
I don't think you actually kill him.
And I feel like it probably wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And either way, I still would have had all these missions available afterwards.
Well, one of the things also that I had read, because I knew there was some mission where you have to get everybody on your side. I had read somewhere ahead of time before I even played the game. I think like always do the heart choice, always do the compassionate choice. Or whatever.
I think I did for the most
I did it
part,
for
but-
everything, even though like there was one guy that I wanted. Was it?
Oh,
was it
that
Helix?
kid way back in the beginning when you're still a kid who like throws the rock at you.
And then he ends up being like your best friend though.
Yeah. Oh, I think I still chose the heart there, but I wanted to just I hate
Like he
that
just
kid.
cracked Aloy like in the eye or in the forehead or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. But then he ends up. What was his name? Talbot. Talbot's Uncharted. Todd. Wasn't Todd?
Jod.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't remember what his name was, but yeah, he was. But then he's like, "Oh, Aloy, you're here. I love you so much. Here's an armor I made you
Yeah.
with my funny little hipster hair."
Yeah. All right. So what else?
What else? I've covered everything I wanted to. I wanted to talk about how cool it was that the dinosaurs robots were there for a purpose, and then they ended up just going bad.
Yeah.
It would be cool if this game. I do wish more games had New Game Plus. I wish Metal Gear Solid 5
This
had
is
a
one
New Game
that
Plus.
if there's New Game Plus, because
If I could start
That
over
was
with
really-
my lance and the armor, I'd be. Oh, I'm gonna wreck everybody.
yeah, or at least your skill tree, even if you don't have the
Yeah.
armor and the lance.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
true.
that alone would make it so much better. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else. I've said my nitpicky things.
I still say my biggest nitpicky thing still to this day is the way the dialogue is. It got to the point when I was doing some of the side missions to
So-
get the platinum. I was like XXXXXXX. Like I don't care what y'all are talking about. Oh, did you do the bandit camps? Those were fun. I like
did
doing
a few
those.
of them. I probably missed some, but yeah, those were fun. So the whole thing that you used to say about, or that you still say about the dialogue, like that
Whatever it is.
never it never bothered me, but it was always fun, and it was usually Aloy that I noticed it. Sometimes
Aloy was
her-
like the worst animated person in these, which makes no sense. She's the main character.
Sometimes her reactions, her expressions, whatever, were like a little over the top, and it was like she would say something and be like, I don't know, like, well, I guess I got to go explore the mountain. It was almost like Halpert face. Like she would just have this weird little like
nope, the camera should have
thing
cut by
at the
now.
end, and I don't know. But again, nitpicking.
And
The
you know,
game
the-
is beautiful.
The funny thing is when I went back and listened, because I've been listening to our podcast a year ago every week now. When we did our E3 recap, one of the things that annoyed me, because I said Horizon looks beautiful, can't wait to play this game. One of the things that annoyed me was in the gameplay demo, Aloy, played by Ashley Birch, is walking around going, gonna gather this for later.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
wonder if I can build something here. Like, I would never be walking
right
around.
when she, I think it was on the mountain that fell. I'm like climbing up this mountain. She's like, okay, I just got to make one more jump, and don't look down. And it's like, but she's not gonna be talking
Just
to
shut
herself.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
right. The other thing, and it's nothing specific about this game, but it always just cracks me up. Like, when you think of these kinds of games not as games, when you try to really put yourself in Aloy's shoes and this whole journey she's been on and everything she's been through and everything she's discovered, because it happened to me, and you find out basically everything, like right before the looming shadow, where you know everything that's going on. After you, basically, I think the last piece was when you see the Ted Faro hologram and he kills everybody. And like, so you know everything, and now it's like, okay, let's go kill Hades. Let's end this. And then I like jumped to grab onto a rope and I just fell to my death. And it's like, well, all that for nothing. I just fell off a cliff and I'm dead. And now the world's going to end because
Rewind.
this is weird when you step away from the fact that this is a game. It's like, imagine if that happened. You go through all this stuff and you're so close to this happy ending and saving the world. And then, I fell off a cliff and now I'm dead. And now the world's going to die.
Well, and it's like all games too. Like, think I don't care if you're the greatest soldier that ever lived, Big Boss, Solid Snake, whoever. You're never going to sneak through all these enemy bases and stuff without being seen or without being shot. And like, you're going to die. That
Right.
soldier is going to be killed. I don't care how good he is and how bad those enemy soldiers are. you're going to be killed at some point, and then the story ends.
And then it's
that's
just
the world's taken over by Liquid Snake or the Patriots or something.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. This game is like to echo what Sean said. If Breath of the Wild didn't come out this year, I think it would hands down be my game of the year so far.
It's tough, and I know it's especially coming from me. It's sacrilege. I'm a prisoner of the moment, but right now I'm almost tempted to say it's better than Breath of the Wild. But I haven't played Breath of the Wild in several months, and I know just how special that game is, and I'm trying to think about things on an even playing field. I think if I had played this first and then went and played Breath of the Wild, I'd say Breath of the Wild is better.
Yeah,
but maybe that Horizon game, who knows?
Well,
but
it's
so
cool
good.
too. Like I don't know how much I'm going to go back to Zelda, but I will when that December, November, whatever DLC drops with the Ballad of the Guardians or whatever it's called, Ballad of the Heroes. I think I'm going to remember why I loved it so much. It's 1 and 1A to me right now.
Yeah.
If at the end of the year Horizon wins IGN's Game of the Year, GameSpot, whatever,
nothing wrong.
I'm
going
to say, okay, I get it. I completely get it. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think Mario Odyssey, at least for me, is going to touch either of these games.
No, it'll be fun.
It'll be a fun, good game, but these games are like this Horizon. Definitely since Uncharted 4, it's the best storytelling in a game I've seen in a long time.
That's the thing. That makes it sound like there's a lot. For any of the shortcomings in gameplay mechanics, and there's not many. And again, we're spoiled by Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
But if I could just climb anywhere, and if I'm on top of a mountain and I want to be down there, and I could just jump,
paraglide,
and fly on my little thing and make down safely, maybe this game is better. I don't know.
Story's a million times better.
That's the thing. Whatever shortcomings you want to nitpick about, I love me some Zelda. Story is just not there. I mean, it's the same thing every single
and
game.
the funny thing is, this Zelda probably had the best story of any of them because we got to know Zelda more. It had voice acting that added a lot to it and everything. But this is and
that was just a great story.
And I'm so interested. Like, I'm not interested for the next Zelda to be a continuation of Breath of the Wild. I cannot wait for Horizon 2 to pick up right where that left off. With Silence is going up to the big Guardian things and where we go from there. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see what the Frozen Wilds is going to have in it too. And I'm interested. That's clearly going to be, now that you've played it, I can feel safe saying this. That DLC definitely is taking place after this story, I think. It has to.
It must.
It seems like I know where it takes place. They hinted that there was like all these clouds and stuff. Like, I don't think it's one of those Guardian things isn't going to wake up. They would say that for Horizon 2.
That. Yeah.
But I feel like there's going to be a new robot dinosaur that we haven't seen before too. Something that's on the level of a Thunderjaw, which that was one thing I was going to say earlier and I forgot to. When you've got regular robot dinosaurs walking around like Stormbirds and Thunderjaws and Deathbringers, like, you can't really have boss battles. Like, that could be another Friday show. Are boss battles a thing of the past? Because you didn't really have any boss fights other than the Metal Gear in Metal Gear Solid 5. Uncharted, you had a boss fight at the end. I won't say what that was. If you ever
that's one of my, again, going back to pet peeves. Again, I get that it's a video game, but in a game like this, that basically any game these days that is more grounded in reality. Old games could get away with it because they were just old games and they weren't very realistic. But when you were just a person and you're fighting other people, how do you have a boss fight where I'm going to fight this person now, but for some reason when I hit them with my spear 10 times, they're still alive.
Right.
When that person I hit once and he's dead. Like, and again, it kind of had that feeling when you're fighting Helis or whatever. And it's like, I mean, he's not a god. He's just a dude. How come when I hit everybody else with my spear a couple times, they're dead, and this guy, he's lost like 2% of his health?
Right.
That always kind of bothers me. And so your boss battles almost have to be, you almost lose that human, it almost just has to be like Wonder Woman, spoiler alert, where a human turns out to be like a god or a demigod or whatever. And it's like, okay, now this is kind of a fair fight. I mean, that's a movie. It's not a game, but like, or you go to fight this person, but instead of fighting the person, he's going to be inside of a Deathbringer, and that's how you fight him. But when you're just like one-on-one, like human versus human, it's like this game's been pretty realistic up until this point. But it's like, why all of a sudden
And it's not
does
even
this
like
guy like
Helis wasn't even wearing a bunch of armor. He was
No,
like
he's just
half
him.
naked. And he's
Right.
just overpowered.
Yeah.
But then I wonder, maybe it is just that it's the open world thing where you can't really have bosses in an open world because you're in an open world setting. If you're going level by level by level, something like, I mean, Breath of the Wild, it's open world, but then you find a dungeon, you find a great divine beast.
Yeah.
You're in an enclosed place. This is the level. There's going to be a boss at the end. Maybe it's just an open world thing. I don't know.
I will say, back when I made last year's E3 prediction about what I thought the new Zelda game was going to be, this is kind of what I had envisioned. Like
Horizon.
even more abstract, not even like really dungeons where you're on like this mission. I guess this was more mission driven, which Zelda never really is, although there are side quests and stuff, but where you would just be like you're climbing up this mountain, and then when you get to the top of the mountain, you fought your way through and maybe found some things to open doors and whatever, and then you get to the end and you fight a Deathbringer. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I thought Zelda was going to be. This Zelda ended up being still more dungeon
In an open
driven
world, yeah.
than I thought it would be. But yeah, this is almost more what I had kind of envisioned for what the new Zelda was going to be last year.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Call me petty if you want, and call me Tom Petty.
He's a
It's
heartbreaker.
tough for me to give a non-Zelda game a 10 out of 10. But my God, I mean, this is the closest thing I can compare it to, Zelda games aside, would be like Last of Us. And I think this is better than Last of Us. And I loved that game.
I think
This is a 9.9, if not a 10.
I think this might be better than Metal Gear Solid 5.
I think it is.
But right, I that doesn't surprise me. But me being as invested,
But you
in that,
being able to admit
yeah,
that.
it's better than Uncharted 4.
Really?
Again, like I said, but I mean, objectively speaking, it's better than Uncharted 4. I didn't bawl, but I cried at the end of Uncharted 4 because I've so invested in that series for 10 years by the time it came out. Well, 9 by the time it came out. That was last year. But this is just like we were talking about in our Amnesia episode last Friday. Check it out. This feels like this is something new, and it's something I'm looking forward to. And I go back to the thought about James's tweet about games you love that aren't part of a franchise. Technically, it's this right now. Obviously, it's going to be a franchise, but it's like you can tell it's the start of something new, something great. It's all
a new,
great.
fresh IP.
Yeah.
Like even The Last of Us, new IP. I love the game,
Zombies.
but it's zombie. Like it's been done. This is like I can't think of another. It almost doesn't seem like it's that new. Like, oh, you're in this post-apocalyptic world and there's robot. Like it doesn't seem like it's new. But when I'm trying to stop and think, what does this game remind me of?
Though. But whenever it's been post-apocalyptic, I've never seen where it goes back to tribal culture, and it's definitely never been that robots really did all our fears about AI and stuff. It came true. The robots took over the world. They ate all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, mental note, when we finally see Horizon Dawn,
It's late.
I need to go to bed. When we finally see Horizon Zero Dawn 2 in probably 2 E3s from now, I feel very good about my prediction. I think Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Silence is the bad guy. I think that's pretty obvious, but I think somehow he recovers Apollo's once thought deleted knowledge of all of our history, and he uses that, and he's got crazy technological advancements over everybody else. And I think that's how, because more than any other game I can think of in a while, when I was playing through this game, probably because it's a new IP, it's a fresh thing, it's not a Horizon Zero Dawn 4. I wonder what's going to happen in Horizon Zero Dawn 5. I'm thinking, where do we go from here? Obviously,
Yeah.
they're not going to end it. There's going to be a sequel. And I'm just trying to think, well, we've already uncovered the secrets of the past. Maybe they do something and say, oh, but that's not all. This also happened. But that just seems cheesy. And I don't think they're going to do that.
Whatever
where
they
do we go?
I think whatever they do, they'll handle it the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never thought Guerrilla, who just made freaking Killzone first-person shooters, could come up with this.
Yeah.
My prediction will be it won't be called Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
No, it's going to be called...
It'll be a new project or something. It won't be like Sunset Zero Dawn, but it'll be something
I
like...
thought about it.
I think it'll be Horizon, because they never said Horizon Zero Dawn.
Right, it's just
It was
Zero
just
Dawn.
Project Zero Dawn. The Horizon makes sense. That's what's coming next. Life finds a way. It's on the horizon, all this other stuff. I think it will be Horizon : something else.
Right.
I think
you're right.
I think Horizon means more than Zero Dawn. I think because when you talk about this game, you just say Horizon. You just say Horizon Zero Dawn. You don't ever call it Zero Dawn. You either call it Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon. It'll be Horizon : something.
Horizon Waning Crescent.
Wayne Manor. Horizon Zero Dawn. We both love it. One of the best games in years. One of the best games this year. Shout out to Nintendo. You're the only thing that could topple this year, I think.
To close this out,
yes.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Top 10 of all time?
It's definitely my top 10. I think it's in my top 5.
Top 5?
I think it's definitely in my top 5. Because Metal Gear Solid 5 was in my top 5. Uncharted 4, I had bumped up to my top 5.
I mean, you already said it was better than those two games.
That's what I'm saying.
Top 3?
It's like, I don't know. I need to go back at my list. Just chill out. I need to go back and look at my list because, like, number 1, my favorite game of all time, I will say that, is still Metal Gear Solid 3. More than Breath of the Wild, more than this.
This is one of those games I need to just
I don't want to be
time.
And I have,
Yes.
I've had like a month since I beat it now, or maybe longer than that. I don't know. To let it sink in and let Breath of the Wild sink in and all that, and remember how much I loved Uncharted and stuff like that. My top 10 is going to look a lot different than it did the last time we did it. I think I'm going to bump Zelda 1 way down the list.
I think this is, I will say, I don't know where it falls in the grand scheme of things. Again, I should probably wait weeks, if not months, before saying this, but I'm here. As of right now, I'm going to say this is probably my favorite non-Zelda
That's what I was going to say.
game of all time.
It's my favorite non-Zelda, non-Metal Gear game of all time, for sure. That I can safely say that.
Yeah.
You like it better than any Final Fantasy game.
I started thinking about Final Fantasy. The only close
7,
ones would be
10.
7, 10, 12.
Yeah. Well, wait a week or two and you'll be able to remember how much you love 12.
Yeah. God, I don't know. It's tough.
It's great. Later this year, it'll probably be the end of the year because I don't know where Odyssey could end up on that for you, but we're going to redo our top 10 lists at some point. If you want to know what they were, go check out episode 3 on audio services around the world. I'm not sure. It was either 2. Yeah, 2 was Christmas. 3 was our top 10. So go check out episode 3 on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, Stitcher, audio services all around the world. You can't get it at youtube.com/2playercoop just yet. But what you can do is while you're here watching this, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video with all your friends. We're so happy you guys have been here. If you want to talk more Horizon, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at KevinWhite24. He's at Real Sean White. Together, we're at 2player_co-op.
Looking at you,
Christian
Nick,
and Nick.
Logan, Christian. I know you've all been waiting patiently for me to finish this game. I finished. Bring it on.
Let's
I
get a
want to
whole
hear your
DM
thoughts.
thread going.
Yeah, let's do this. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
And I'm sure we've left stuff out too. I should have been making better notes waiting for you to beat this game, but I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
There's always something we're going to be left out. But if we left out anything that was big in the spoiler cast, hit that comment section. Let us know. We're not perfect. We just look that way on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here. Come back for the next episode of the podcast. And until that time, Sean, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing. That was a lot better than the other one.